Hi there, my name is Alana and I use my YouTube channel as a way to justify my addiction to high-end makeup, in particular Charlotte Tilbury, Pat McGrath, like that world, obsessed. So today we are doing this beautiful makeup look using a whole bunch of new products. So we are going to do this makeup look, chat a little bit about the products. So let's get into it. Okay, so the first product we are trying today is from Charlotte Tilbury. This is the Broad Spectrum SPF 50 Sunscreen, Invisible UV Flawless Primer, Flawless Looking Skin, and Daily Defense. Now, I have to be honest, I had no idea she was coming out with a SPF, like a sunscreen primer. Just being honest, had no idea. And I was thinking, like, do I live under a rock? But then I was like, no, you know what? If you are Canadian, you know that there are tons and tons of SPF products that are released, I would say around the world, but specifically released in the US that don't make their way to Canada. It's quite a process to go through the Health Canada. It's quite a process to go through the Health Canada process. It's quite a process to go. It is quite an undertaking to go through the Health Canada process to get approvals for things like SPF. So a lot of companies, they look at the size of the Canadian marketplace and they're just like, not worth the effort. So I'm thinking that I maybe just haven't got, served ads on it. I haven't got emails about it, but they sent it to me in PR, so thank you. Anyways, new primer, Flawless Looking Skin, and Daily Defense. Apply it on its own after your Magic Skincare or under foundation. Made in Japan for Charlotte Tilbury. Okay. So I already have my magic cream on my face. I'm literally opening this for the first time. Oh, interesting. Oh, okay. Okay, so there's like a little thing there you can use. Anyways, I've got a bunch of it. It's sort of a kind of like a peachy nude color. The ultimate test is, does it irritate my eyes? So I'm just gonna like put it like right over my eyes to test. This is actually great because it was a bit of a change of plans, but my brother and his girlfriend are coming over for dinner, so we're gonna sit on the patio, so I was gonna need to put on sunscreen anyways. Okay. Kind of a nice smell. It doesn't really smell sunscreeny. It feels comfortable on the skin. I've like literally rubbed it into my eyes. Not because I like doing that, but obviously we want to make sure that it's not irritating. And yeah, okay. So this expires in June of 2023. Okay, awesome. Awesome. Okay, so good shelf life. So I'm using the NARS Radiant Creamy Concealer. And this is obviously not a new concealer, but I wanted to show you a new sponge that I received to kind of rub it in. So I got this little tiny little sponge, little beauty sponge from HipDoc, and it came in one of my most recent Ipsy bags. I received a couple while I was away, so I've been kind of catching up on which one was which month. But I got this cute little sponge, and I'll show you what I thought would be really good for in a moment. Okay, so we're going to set the sponge aside. We are going to see it again. Now we are going in with our Flawless filter. So I'm going in with my Charlotte Tilbury Magic Cream, which again is not a new foundation to me, but it is a foundation I've really fallen in love with while I was on vacation. So we're just going to really cut through this quickly so we can get to what I really wanted to show. So I'm really excited about this tiny sponge for is I wanted to try it to do my eyeshadow base. So I always use MAC Paint Pot and Painterly as my eyeshadow base. And I usually use the end of my beauty sponge. But I love the idea of just having a really little one to kind of tap it in, because sometimes I feel like I'm going in a little too broad. I'm gonna do my brows really quick. So next up, I'm going to be using the Charlotte Tilbury Beautiful Skin Bronzer. Now I've already filmed a review and I'm pretty sure it's already going to be up, so I'm going to leave that link down below. But one of the things that was recommended by Charlotte in the, I don't say instructions, but in the instructions for this bronzer. By the way, this is her new cream bronzer, I don't think I mentioned that. Anyways, was to use it with the Beautiful Skin Foundation. So I thought I would try that. So this bronzer has skincare kind of benefiting ingredients. I'm not going to say that this bronzer is skincare, but there's like skincare ingredients in it, and my kind of view is that every little bit of goodness that we can add into our skin is not gonna not gonna hurt. You know, I don't think it's gonna fundamentally like make your skin better. You know, I don't think it's like magic. But, you know, if it's a choice between a bronzer with some skincare or a bronzer without, I mean, I'll take some skincare ingredients. Sounds good to me. And this is the brush that she launched to go with it. So I'm wearing it in shade 1. I have to say, at first I was a little bit, I won't say intimidated, but sometimes cream products really intimidate me because sometimes there can be a little bit of a learning curve. But this, honestly, you apply it just like a powder, and it doesn't really even feel like a cream. Like when you touch it, like rub your fingers through it, it feels like a cream. But when you're applying it, it doesn't really feel that way. It almost just kind of feels like a slightly damp powder. Yeah, I'm actually really impressed with how easy this bronzer is to use and just how like beautifully, I think it just warms up the skin. You know, I'm not the warmest person, either emotionally or in my skin tone. Okay, so we're gonna use the Divine Rose 2 blush. So again, I already have my review of this new blush up from Pat McGrath. So again, I'm gonna leave that link down below. But I'm opting for the Divine Rose 2 because it is a lot, I want to say bolder. It's quite a pink. The other thing I'll say about the bronzer is it actually works beautifully with powders. Like, I don't feel like I have to give it special treatment. I feel like you can just treat it like a powder, which is really nice. So, but the reason I wanted this blush from Pat, like a hair that's like really impeding my vision there. The reason I wanted to wear this blush today is I find it really, this kind of color really flatters me when I've got a little bit of a tan. And, you know, I'm starting to get a little bit of a tan, but with this bronzer, it definitely looks like I have one. So I'm using my Refer number 4 blush brush. I definitely prefer number 5. If you're familiar with the Refer brushes, if you're familiar using the brushes, what I'm trying to say is I like the number 5 blush brush better because it's just a little bit longer and softer, and when the blush is as pigmented as this one, I find that's nicer. This brush, I have used it for blush in the past. I've used it for highlighter. I've used it, it's got like a good multi-purpose brush. Brush, 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 brush. Okay. There we go. We've got a little bit of warmth going on, a little bit of color. Just popping in with the Dior highlighter quad. Again, not a new product, but it's a product I like. And a little bit of the Charlotte Tilbury Airbrush Flawless Setting Powder. Now for my eyeshadow today, I'm going with the new Milani quad, and this quad I picked up when I was in Europe. So I'm going to start using my Refer number 1 brush and just going in with this nude color. I'm going to just put that all over my eyes, kind of as our base. So I'm definitely getting a lot of kind of powder kickback on this. I mean, you know, not that that's unexpected. It is a pretty affordable, reasonably priced product. I'd place this kind of above drugstore, but, you know, like maybe on par with a brand like Pixie, maybe a little bit behind that in terms of the price point. Okay, so now we are going to be going in with this deeper brown shade, and I'm using my Refer 27, and I'm just making sure to tap it off because I don't really want too dark of a look. I'm just going to really focus on blending. So this is from the Festival Glow collection from Milani, and this palette is called Purple Rain. There were 2 palettes in the collection, and I looked at the other one and it didn't really pull me in. I seem to recall it kind of was giving me the Rebel, like the original The Rebel vibes from Charlotte Tilbury in the brighter green. I could be wrong, but I just remember kind of glancing at it and saying like, no, that's not something I'm gonna get my euros worth. You know, the euro to Canadian dollar exchange is pretty painful. So I wanted to kind of really make sure that I was only purchasing things I was obsessed with. So I'm going to start with this shimmery pink shade all over my lid, and then I'm going to try the other sparkly shade that sort of intimidates me. So this eye look as it is, add mascara. I actually wore this to a work lunch the other day. I got a ton of compliments on it. So, okay, so let's try a little bit of this sparkly shade up here. Okay, so adding this one, it sort of gives it a bit of a monochrome vibe. That's actually, I think that's so pretty. Okay, I'm gonna pop on some eyeliner and mascara and then I'll show you the completed look. And here is the completed look. I'm so happy with how it turned out. I think it looks just really, really pretty and fresh and glowy. I think that Kiko eyeshadow, I think is just so flattering on the eyes. Again, I wore it to a work event the other day. I didn't use the sparkly shade. I just stuck with more of the pink shimmer, but super pretty, easy to apply. Yes, there was that little bit of fallout, but for a product as reasonably priced, I mean, I'm not gonna worry about it. On our lips, you would think it'd be easy to find things because it's like, it's just a table in front of me. We have a, I don't even think it's necessarily new, but it's new to me, a Kiko Smart lipstick in the shade 406, which is a really, really pretty Barbie pink. Honestly, this is my second or third time using the cream bronzer and I'm just falling more and more in love with it. Thought it was so easy to sculpt out my cheeks and blend it in and make it look, I mean, not like natural, but just make it look natural and blended and bronzy and pretty. And the Pat McGrath blush, I mean, again, now that I'm sort of getting over the learning curve of just how pigmented it is, thought I was able to really blend it in and make it look really pretty and fresh and glowy. But to me, the biggest winner is this new Charlotte Tilbury Invisible UV Flawless Primer, SPF 50. It is hot. Like, I was outside earlier today watering my garden. It is hot out there. And I mean, for me, like, all the SPF that I can get. I'm turning 30 in about a year, and you know what? You can get all the skincare you want later in life, but preventative action earlier is always going to be your #1 friend. So I'm excited. I'm definitely going to be using this. I have a feeling it's not available. In Canada, but I'm going to leave it linked down below. And if you're like me and you're Canadian, you probably find your way down to the States, you know, to go shopping in Buffalo or whatever's nearby for you. So there's still ways that we can get it. Anyways, I hope that you guys enjoyed this video. I hope you enjoyed the look I created, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye. Mwah.